Hi, this is Joy Robertson. As many of you know, I love food. I love finding new restaurants. I love trying new dishes. And most of all, I love talking to the many great restaurateurs and entrepreneurs we have here in the Ozarks and beyond. I love hearing their stories, and that's what this podcast is all about, learning more about them and their journey. So join me as we savor the Ozarks. This episode is brought to you by Arctic Food Equipment.
Ready to rock, Sarah?
I just heard Victor ask Sarah, "You ready to rock?" And I hope you're both ready to rock. I'm talking to Victor and Sarah Briceno at Mundos Latin Kitchen and Bar in Ozark. And if you want some amazing, authentic Latin cuisine, you are going to get it here. Talked to you guys, first met you, Victor, on Ozarks Live several years ago when you came on, and I could not believe the food you brought in. It was fabulous. By the way, congratulations on how many years now?
It's 5 years now. It's going to be 5 in the next couple months.
5 years in the next couple of months at the same location down in Ozark, just a beautiful spot. I want to talk to both of you about your partnership here, your partnership in the restaurant, outside the restaurant, but your history, where you came from. You both spent time in and around Mountain Grove. Sarah, I know you're from there. Is that where you two met?
Yeah, that's correct. She was my high school sweetheart, actually, and there in Mountain Grove. We moved to Mountain Grove when I was about 16 years old, and I started high school there. Graduated from Mountain Grove. Met Sarah on a football game, kind of a cliche story, but and honestly, it was kind of funny because the very first time I met her, after that, I just tried to get her to date me at one point. And eventually I got her to date me.
Oh, really? I was going to ask you about the story. So that's it? You were like, okay, this is the one. I've just got to talk her into going out with me?
Yeah, pretty much. Except she thought I was a jerk. So it was a little more challenging than, it wasn't that simple. It was kind of a handful.
He's not a jerk, is he, Sarah? Please tell me he's not.
No, he's not. I just decided he was.
Well, it's a great way to start a little podcast, is with a love story. I absolutely love that. And he could probably cook really well. I mean, did he cook for you at high school?
Not really, actually.
Okay, all right. But fair question, though. You grew up in Mexico, and your family has owned restaurants in and around the Ozarks before.
That is correct.
That's a plus right there with a boyfriend. It's like the family's, got the dinners covered for sure. Tell me a little bit about your background, how you wound up here.
Well, actually, so my father moved on to Carthage, Missouri, actually, around 2002. And then he started there as a server, worked his way up, worked in the kitchen, did a little bit of everything. And by 2014, he opened his first restaurant in Bolivar. He saved his money and decided to take a leap of faith. I think he was only like 38 back then. And we just moved to Bolivar and started, our first adventure as a family, owning our first restaurant.
Is it still there?
It's not there anymore. After he expanded, we went over towards the Mountain Grove area, where we later on moved in life. He started opening several restaurants around the area. So at one point, he had 6 restaurants around there. So we just moved to the area, and Bolivar was no longer convenient, so he closed that one down. But although I didn't cook for Sarah, she did work there, and I did feed her there a lot.
Okay. All right. I knew there was a connection somewhere. Your dad opened 6 restaurants.
Yeah, he's had
what type of restaurant?
All Mexican restaurants.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They all have the same name as Cozumel Mexican Restaurant. Yeah, he's had several. He sold several when they got too much of a headache, or there was too much work and not enough of us.
Okay, enough of us. When you say enough of us, do you mean your family, or do you mean the employees, or a little both? But I'm sure he dragged the whole family into this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly the family. There was some employees, they were like family, and they always helped us grow. But I mean, the way we saw it is enough of us. My dad was very old school. He always believes that if you're not in your business taking care of it, nobody's going to take care of it the way you will. So he said, one of my kids has to work in each one of these. So, we make sure we give him that family experience there at the restaurant. Give them that what we actually are there for, which is to provide good service, food, and make sure they left happy, not just with the food, but with their whole stay there.
Well, and people, it's like they're at the family table in a way. The family experience, the family dedication, you feel that, I think, when you go into a restaurant, for sure. Did you, I'm sure you grew up with an appreciation of really good food in Mexico. Did you think you would maybe have a restaurant one day?
Earlier in my life, not really. I do a lot of hobbies. I do a lot of things.
Such as?
Way too many to mention. I think by the time I was 15, I actually hated working in the restaurant. My dad would not give us weekends to go to football games and stuff like that because it was when it was busy. And so I started learning other businesses so I would, when I grow up, get out of the restaurant business, I would say. By the time I was 15, I started doing telecommunication and starting installing Ethernet cables and doing computer work and fixing computers for businesses. By 16, I was doing that, and I started doing photography. By the time I was 18, I was doing photography professionally, and I could actually just make a living off of that. At 18, I started also DJing, so I started a photo DJ company that is still, we don't use it as much, but I still get messages, people trying to hire me, so it's pretty nice, that has stayed around that long. So I did that for about 10 years at the same time that I was working at my parents full time, helping them take care of the restaurant. I just have too many hobbies. I play like 7 different instruments. I can't ever sit still. When I'm at home, if I'm not doing work, I got to learn something or do something, or I don't know.
My goodness, he is a handful, Sarah. I did not know that about you. That's where it gets really interesting when you get to learn about the people like this. You could literally be kind of a one-man band. You've got a little room. Maybe you could bring your instruments in here and set up and play one at a time. I don't know. Very, very interesting. So you really didn't want to be in the kitchen, and lo and behold, here you are, a restaurant owner. Funny how that happens. And you mentioned that your dad would never let you off to go to a football game. He let you off to go to one because you met Sarah. So that was, I know you at least...
Maybe it wasn't as strict.
Yeah, at least you made it to one. But does your dad still own and operate restaurants?
He does. He still has Cozumel, who's been, the one in Mountain Grove, which is the oldest one since 2014. So he's got quite a legacy there. Right now he has 3 open, the one in Houston, Missouri, the one in Mountain Grove, Missouri, and then he has another one in Rogersville, but it's actually co-owned with my sister, and she is a main proprietor, and she just took off and followed the same family, legacy for my dad as well.
How many brothers and sisters?
So I have 2 brothers, and then I have 1 sister. My oldest brother lives in Houston, Missouri, and he manages at Houston, Missouri. And then my youngest brother lives in Mountain Grove, and he helps my parents co-manage that one so they can have vacation and enjoy their life now that they're older and they want to retire.
I love that. So the family really is all still in it after all of these years. Yeah. That's amazing. So you decided you wanted to open your own place. And how did that all get started?
Honestly, started with as I started expanding into meeting more people in the Springfield area. When I started doing DJ and photography, I started really getting a hold of other people from other countries, and they started fascinating me. It fascinated me because me being Hispanic myself, I was so unaware, I was so uneducated, and I think of myself a very educated person. I was so uneducated in cultural differences between my own, ethnic background, and I don't know. I think it was just between my dad telling people that I hated working in the restaurant, and me meeting these people. And I knew he put me in the kitchen since I was like 16 years old. So I learned how to do everything in the kitchen, and just the experience. And I did love it. I did love working in the restaurant. I just loved doing other things also, right? Yeah. And I was always. My brain was always wondering, like, what if I do this here? What if I do that there? A lot of the menu items that they have, I designed all their menus from scratch. I do their photography for their menus that they currently have, and a bunch of the items I came up with myself.
Wow.
So one day I talked to my wife. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to have my own freedom. I think I want to experiment. And I'm like, I think I want to go and open a restaurant that hasn't been done around here, and I want to teach other people about cultural differences other than just Mexican restaurants. Because quite frankly, if you go to Springfield or anywhere, honestly, anywhere in general, most restaurants you ever hear is Mexican restaurants. And even some Latino restaurants that are, more authentic based to Southern American countries, they still get misclassified as Mexican restaurants. So just between meeting all these people doing DJ and photography from all these countries, I was like, you know what, I think that this is what I want to do. I want to educate people. I want to make some amazing food that takes them on a trip somewhere else that they can't get anywhere around here. And try to represent these countries as best as I can. Although we don't classify ourselves as being authentic, we try to make them as authentic as possible. We're what you consider fusion, because given the large menu that we have and the extensive countries that we visit.
Sure.
But yeah, that's how that happened. I was just like, you know what, I think we just want some freedom, and she just said, let's go.
And she said, let's go. So what were you doing at the time?
So I was working in radiology at the time. I worked at the hospital at Cox South. So pretty much this just took over everything. And I was trying to juggle both with the kids. They were very young at the time. And I was like, you know what? I can't do everything. I can't be everything. So I just said, you know what? Let's do it. I'll jump in and just do this.
So did you have an inkling that maybe one day they're looking at each other, a cute little grin, one day he's going to say, Sarah, let's open a restaurant. And I guess that's what,
there is
what?
a little backstory there.
Okay.
So she did used to work at my parents' restaurant along with me in high school for a little bit as she was getting ready to prepare for college. So she already had some experience. And let me tell you, my parents were willing to fire me to hire her.
Oh.
Hell, they were willing to adopt her and just kick me out of the house at that point.
Just get Victor the heck out. Sarah moving in. Okay, so you had restaurant experience and really good experience in a really good family-owned restaurant. Really?
Amazing work ethic, super dedicated, very caring. I mean, I'm just saying that because she's my wife, but I'm telling you, after I seen her work there, I was like, damn, this is this is a keeper.
This is it?
Yeah, what am I doing, But honestly, she has the dedication that I've never seen in other people. So I think that's literally what does it. Same with radiology. She was one of their best employees there. Wow. If they didn't tell her that,
I bet they miss you over there. But we're glad to have you here serving up some great food. Define the cuisine. When you say Latin kitchen, define what this cuisine is all about. I'll be perfectly honest with you. There are lots of things on your menu. I have no idea what that is. No idea what that is. It's almost like I need a tasting menu to get through some of these things. What kind of food are you bringing literally to the table?
So not all of our dishes. Half of the menu that we have right now is involved just in Southern American countries. We take a trip all the way from, some of the islands, Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. We have the mofongo from there. We have a lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans that come in here, and they absolutely love our mofongo. We make it to order. Peel the plantain, we put it on the fryer, we mash it down with peel and mortar every single time people order it. We have other dishes from Venezuela, like the patacón, made with a plantain. We focus a lot on plantains.
Well, I was going to say plantains are huge. It's sort of like a banana.
That is correct. So plantain's a little bit like a banana, a little bit more starchy. Kind of has like the potato kind of more flavor to it. But when you cook them when they're green, and you cook them down, they release a lot of that inner sugar that they have. That they get more sweet as they get more ripe, right? But then they become more of a dessert type thing. They taste more like a banana. But if you cook them when they're green, they release a little bit of that sweetness as they're getting cooked down. So it gives you a whole new flavor profile in between, like, what I would, kind of like I don't even know how to describe it, like a sweet tasty potato or something like that. I don't really know how to describe it, to be honest with you. I think to me itself, it's a whole flavor that, it's just a plantain. That's what it is to me.
But it's versatile, it sounds like. But so you take this plantain and you said you sort of grind it down, smush it down, and then you make, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but if it's a little bit of a more starchy component, is it almost like what you would find making a tortilla? You're sort of making kind of like not really a tortilla, but you see what I mean? It's almost like a...
Yeah, once you grind it down, it becomes pliable. So it kind of becomes like a dough, okay. Once we mash it down.
Exactly.
So it does become a dough. When we make the mofongo, we put some chicken base, in there to, tenderize it and make it more pliable and more juicy. But if you were just to put a green plantain in the fryer and pull it out and mash it down, it would be very brittle. It would break off, unless they get a little bit riper. The riper they get, the more sweet, the more tender. Then you put a little cinnamon sugar on there, and you will not stop eating them all day long.
Okay, the dish you just referred to, mofongo, describe the rest of the dish.
So mofongo itself is just that. It's plantain, just mashed plantain. Dominicans and Puerto Ricans usually eat it with a lot of garlic. They have a garlic sauce that they make, and it's just olive oil and garlic, honestly. We've taken a trip down there to immerse ourselves more in the culture as well. Now they have all kinds of recipes for it. They'll mix it with fish, with chicken, with pork. I mean, and they'll just mash it all together. That's how you eat it. We went to some restaurants where, you would get some seafood, and then it would be a side of it, just like a little side of plantain. So it's kind of like, almost think of like mashed potato, but it doesn't taste nothing like mashed potato.
So you could order that and get it by itself in whatever way you wanted it, but it also is a component to other dishes.
That is correct. Yeah, they eat it kind of like, in Mexican culture, eat beans. We just eat it with everything. They seemed like it was in every restaurant, every place that we went, mofongo was available.
What was the other dish you mentioned too? And go over some of your specialties.
So we have a patacón is a very, very popular one, which is on that one, the original recipe calls for a green plantain, but we adapted it and we use a fully wrapped plantain, which makes it sweet. So once we deep fry that, we make it like a tortilla. So we flatten it out into a bed, and then we put the rest of the components on there, which would be black beans, your choice of protein, lettuce, pico, sour cream, or cilantro sauce. And the cilantro sauce is what really, really sets it off with a flavor. We also have, like the ropa vieja from Cuba. We have a lot of new dishes that we're getting ready to add on there.
Okay, before you get started on those, describe the Cuban dish for me, because this is really, a lot of this is rather new to me, and I don't have your menu in front of me, although I was looking at it earlier, but describe that dish.
So we have two Cuban dishes. We have the vaca frita and we have the ropa vieja. The vaca frita is like a shredded brisket. It's called fried cow. So once we cook it down, before we serve it, we fry it on the grill with a little bit of oil and onions. We let the onions caramelize, and then we finish it off with some lime for a fresh, zesty flavor. The ropa vieja is more like we cook it down with tomatoes. It's a more complex recipe. It has bell peppers, onions, tomato paste. We put some olives in there. We cook down, the base first, and then we cook the shredded beef separate, and then we put it together at the end to finish it off. It's really, really tasty, really juicy. It's a unique flavor, and that olive flavor there too that kind of finishes it with that salty. You have to really try some of these food for me to be able to explain the flavor there is to it. I
really do need it. When you came on Ozark's Live all those years ago, I do remember the food you brought in just being spectacularly good. I like to think of myself as an adventurous eater. The dishes that you just mentioned, are those some of the things you might recommend to someone who said, you know what, you tell me what I want?
Oh, man. Honestly, just about anything we can... On our Latin American menu, we recommend. We love asking the customers, hey, what mood are you in? We'll get you something based on what you want to eat today. You want something salty? You want something more kind of sweeter tasting? You want something with more sauce? You want to lean more Mexican style, or you want to try something completely off the wall? We try to cater to the customer and try to get to see what they want, so we can then recommend something. But with that being said, I love recommending the Lomo Saltado, which is a Peruvian dish. Peruvian culture itself is settled with a lot of Asian influence. There's a lot of Asian influence behind that. Their country got settled in with Asian slaves, and when they were freed, they just stay there. So a lot of Peruvian food and culture is very, very heavily Asian influenced. And the way I would describe a Lomo Saltado is literally stir fry on top of French fries. And then you just stir it all up and let the French fries soak that soy sauce, umami taste. And, it's so good. So we make our own concoction with soy sauce and Maggi sauce, which is like an umami Asian sauce that's very commonly used in Latin cooking. We put cilantro, garlic, basil, and then we cook it down a little bit and we mix it together. And then we use that for a base for our Lomo Saltado as we're cooking it. And finish it off with a little bit vinegar, apple vinegar on there, and that's the one I would describe. And at the very end, we top it off with our cilantro sauce, which is our signature sauce here. And if you don't like that, then you don't like food.
That sounds amazing. And you had me at cilantro sauce. I always say the world needs more cilantro. I love it. And it just looks, I was looking at your menu. By the way, the photography on your online menu is fabulous. And I like seeing menu items when I'm looking at a menu. I don't have to, but I do like that because it just gives me an idea of what's coming. And there was a bowl. You do bowls here, and there was a bowl, and it was topped with this cilantro sauce. And I thought, oh, just give me a bowl of cilantro sauce and a spoon. Bowls are a big deal for you.
Yeah, so that's our burrito bowl. That's actually one of our best sellers, especially for our lunchtime crowd. It's very simple, but it's so fresh, so tasty. We put a bed of rice, white rice that we make here. We butter and season our rice with some delicious condiments that I'm not going to tell you, so okay. And then
you got to keep some of those things secret.
We got to keep some secrets. But we layer the white rice, and then we put black beans. Also, the way we cook black beans in here are very, very earthy. We put a lot of different condiments in there to really bring out the flavor in them. And then we top it off with a fresh bed of fresh greens, and then your choice of protein. And you can put whatever you want on there. You can put chicken, shrimp, pastor. You can put pork belly if you want. And then pico de gallo cheese, and then your salsa topping, which the most popular one is going to be our cilantro sauce every single time. But when we added that item to the menu, it's become one of our top sellers by far. So much that we decided to add it in our other restaurant that we opened in Springfield. So if you're here or there, you can have some of these items. We offer them in both locations, although they're completely different genres of restaurants.
I want to talk about OXO too because I've been there as well. Sarah, have you always enjoyed this kind of food, or is it an eye opener for you?
Oh, I love food. If you take me anywhere, the whole time I'm spending looking for somewhere to eat and trying to find something different that I haven't had before. Even the times that we've gone to Mexico, the only thing that they ever talk about is how I spend the whole time eating.
You did marry a good one. I'm really impressed. Do you guys do? Sarah, are you in the kitchen too?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
I am not meant to be in the kitchen.
Okay, you're the eater, not the cooker, but you help run the show for sure. No. Did you, Victor, come up with all these recipes on your own, I guess?
Most of them, to be honest, yeah. We sat there. We did a lot of research before we did this, and I went to friends' houses that had different cultures to see how they cooked, asked them questions. Went to different countries to educate myself on it. We had a huge list. Our initial thought was like, okay, let's think of every single Latin American country and let's find their top 5 cultural dishes. I didn't want to make dishes that were famous because some other reason. I wanted something that people eat there locally. Mm-hmm. And oh man, it was a humongous list. So then it was just narrowing down, hey, what is compatible in the kitchen? What could we make it work? And then upon doing that, I started realizing that there was other Latin American restaurants, across the United States that offer the same or similar thing that we were trying to do. Although our menu items were, a lot of them were very different, a lot of them were very much the same. And I ended up going to one of them for 2 weeks and training and learning how to do some of their, organizing and keeping, because we have a lot of ingredients in the back. I don't know if some people understand, but we actually do make everything fresh. We're constantly prepping back there 24/7. And there's a lot of items. There's a lot of items that we have variety. I would say they're very different one from another. So just learning how to maintain that, how to keep it, how to prep it, when to prep it, how to organize it so we can make it work in our kitchen. And I did that I went and worked for free at another restaurant just to learn it. That was my pay, was my experience. And we came back here, and with all my kitchen experience I already had, I had over 15 years of restaurant and kitchen experience already. One day we're like, all right, let's open the door. And
wow. But you went on a road trip sort of to taste some of these different foods in different places. And the kitchen that you went into and spent a little time in learning, was it in Missouri or where was it? I
went all the way to Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, so I went all the way to Columbus, Ohio. And
did you know these people, or did you just say, hey, can I come hang out?
No, they were my cousins, and I didn't even know they had a restaurant of such. Where they live, there's a lot of, Columbus, Ohio is a huge city, mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, I didn't really mingle with them a whole bunch. When we grew up together, but when we grew up, we just kind of fell apart. We were all kind of busy in our own world. And when I seen what they were doing, I was like, hey, I have these ideas. Do you mind if I go over there and try to pick up some of your ideas to see if I can make mine work?
Yeah.
And they were very, very receptive from the get-go. They were like, oh, coming over here. We actually need some kitchen help right now. And I was like, you know what? I'll work for free if you guys are open to teaching me as much as you're willing to. They have a lot of recipes that they were not going to share with me, which is fine, you know. But most of the items we already picked for our menu, we already kind of determined how and, you know, how we were going to lay them, present them, cook the dishes. I already had been cooking them at my father's restaurant. So while we were doing the build out at Mundos, I was working at my father's restaurant part-time still to be able to afford to do both. Honestly, we were just a family business, just starting our own. And so I would go over there and practice making dishes that I was going to sell here, which is kind of funny. But my mom loved it. She was like, yep, you keep on doing this. She's like, I didn't even know you could cook like this.
Wow, that's so great. I mean, Sarah, when he was coming up with the menu items, and I'm sure you both weighed in on this, did you then and do you now make suggestions based on, you're a lover of food, do you make suggestions now and say, hey, why don't we try tweaking it this way or that way?
Oh, yeah. He makes a joke that my opinion's always getting presented in there whenever he's coming up with stuff. I'm like, what if you did this instead?
What is your favorite thing on the menu?
The Lomo Saltado, that one's absolutely my favorite. It's so good. I love stir fries, so it just sits right in there. And something about the potatoes and the way they soak up that sauce. Oh, I'm obsessed. Is that your favorite too, or is that's a tough question?
Ah, man. This is one of my top favorites for sure. For sure. That and the street tacos. I absolutely love our street tacos. So
okay, well, you mentioned street tacos. I love tacos as well, and I see them on your menu. Love a good taco. And that leads me to your other restaurant, Oxo on South Campbell in Springfield. I was in there and I think we hit your happy hour. So there were the margaritas, the queso, everything was really good. And I said, I don't know what I want. I think I tried a spicy shrimp. It was a chimichurri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was chimichurri. And I said, I have to try the street tacos. And the waitress, adorable waitress, I said, I don't know what to get. I love chorizo. She goes, pork belly. And I said, really? And she goes, oh, yeah. And I have been back just to get the pork belly tacos. Was that an original one, or did that come later?
No, that's actually from Mundos. Okay. All of our street tacos that are at Oxo are babies from here, right? So we use this. This was a lot of our inspiration for doing that. And so here in the next month, we're actually going to focus our Mundos location to just more Latin American cuisine. We're going to be adding a lot of new dishes to the menu, and we're going to be removing a lot of the more typical Mexican dishes that are in there, just so we can really focus on what I originally wanted to do, which was, create some beautiful dishes that are very, very well crafted and, presented to the customer so they can really take a trip with a bite, to the country. That's my goal is hopefully you've been to one of these countries, you eat it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was just like the one I had down there. And then, so we use, so that same inspiration to kind of like split off. I was like, okay, at Oxo, we're going to do more. Our theme over there is street style Mexican food. That is Oxo. It's Oxo Mexican Bar and Grill, but it's literally street style Mexican food. Mm-hmm. Everything that we sell there, it's something that you can find in the streets of Mexico if you're down there on vacation or you live down there. And but a lot of these recipes came from here because this is where I really ventured. This is where I really explored. I sat in the kitchen. I worked in the kitchen for when we first opened 6 months without a single day off, no breaks. And I'm not exaggerating. I would come here at 9:30 every morning and leave around 10, 11 p.m. every night for 6 months. I would try to make sure everybody else had a day off, so I would try to fill in all the little spots, trying to do the best I could for my employees. And so it gave me a lot of time to explore. I did a lot of exploring. I did a lot of cooking. I brought in chefs. I had friends. I made new connections with people that own restaurants, and they came in. We played around. We made things. And but the street tacos, they were Mundos babies, and they're always going to be Mundos babies because this is where we came up with all those. And
that's where I've had some of that cilantro sauce, the drizzle on those tacos. Oh, so good. By the way, the corn down there, oh my goodness, delicious. And hats off for the ramen with the with the crunched up chips and all the business going on. That's fabulous. That must be a big hit down there.
Yeah, it's actually very popular, considering it's ramen. But it sounds funny. It sounds cheesy. We actually even had some backlash on that from a few guests that even come in and eat, or just out on our marketing.
Why? I mean, looking at it makes you go, now that's how you should do some ramen.
Just because it's ramen, just because it's a simple thing. We prep it the way they sell it down there. And my response has always been, we're here to, offer an experience with their food. And this is something that I grew up eating down there. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't anything exciting, but it was delicious. And I know a lot of customers that come in there, they say the same thing. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so flavorful. It changes everything. I'm
a cold-natured girl. I like summertime. I'm cold all the time. But that actually makes me look forward to colder weather, because it's just talk about a good way to trick out some ramen. Seriously.
Yeah. Now, if you got to put all the toppings on there, it makes it really, really good. I'm getting hungry now just thinking about it. I'm literally imagining it. But
and now that place is altogether different than this one, because that restaurant, you've got a lot of seating in there, but at night it pretty much becomes a nightclub.
Yeah, we become a Latin American nightclub, and I tell you, we fill that place up with a lot of Latin American, personnel, which continues to go into my original passion for what we wanted to do here. And that's what we're doing over there. We're expanding, and we try to fit into every criteria and make a lot of these people that come from other countries and they're working here and living here, make them feel like they have a place to be,
Sure.
feel comfortable and feel like they can relax. But with that being said, the traction we are getting on what you would call the American population has been incredible, and the support we're getting has been incredible. Aside from that, I don't know, sometimes when people say club, it kind of makes me apprehensive sometimes, because although we have a very large nightlife scene in that location, our demographic, the majority is 35 to 55 or 65 years old.
Right. So maybe to call it a nightclub, to put that idea in somebody's mind, might not be exactly what you've got going on over there. I haven't been there when the music starts up, but I take it you probably move those tables out, and it's a big dance floor, and there's still places to sit down. So,
with the place is so big that we actually keep about as many tables as we think we want to serve in there. Keeps us busy all day when we need to be. So we just shove the tables a little bit to the side. Every Saturday, which is our busiest night, usually by Thursday, we have almost every single table booked out. People book out the tables. We sell food all night long up until 1:30. So a lot of couples come in, families come in. It is only 18 and up to maintain, more safety and security for the patrons. But they come in, they sit down with their friends, they come after work, some of my friends like Chuy from Show Me Chuy or his brother, they show up after work, and I think it's amazing that we can provide that. They're like, we feel comfortable, we feel safe, we can eat, we can relax, we can get up, we can dance, we can do it all in one place. They're like, it's awesome. It's not just a place where kids are shaking their booties.
Right, but you do have live bands up there.
Yes, and then we bring Latin American live bands, and then starting actually this weekend, we're going to try to have one or two local artists going in there. This week, with this Friday, we have Grace and Allie, Grace and her mom, performing.
Did I dream it, or was Dallas Jones there recently?
Dallas Jones was there last month.
Love him.
He was awesome, and every time they come in, they pack the house, and the response we get over there to it, people saying, man, the fact that you can eat this good food while you're doing this is amazing, and we hope we continue to grow that, honestly. I hope, because we don't do a cover charge. That's my biggest thing. I don't believe in cover charges. If you're, or at least in the way we perform our business, I'm a full-time restaurant, so I don't believe I should charge you extra for coming in to enjoy food. So we find other ways to work with the artists so we can, pay them out. And the response we became from that from customers, because now we have customers who don't care if there's a band. They'll come in and eat, be out in an hour. But when they're like, we love the show. And the artists are happy because they get more exposure to other people. We're happy because we have more foot traffic, and just kind of gives that overall experience that, hey, just a good place to go eat, and just go in and go out whenever you need to. Don't have to worry about extra little things. Yeah.
And you mentioned Chuy would come in, and I recently talked to Chuy about Show Me Chuy, his new place, relatively new place on Republic Road. But of course, his brother Tony Garcia. You say Tony really took you under his wing a lot. Like when you got started in this business, what were you telling me about your relationship with Tony and Chewy for that matter?
So I've met Tony through the Latin community, through some other friends, and ever since the beginning, just if I ever had a question and if he was around, he would, he wouldn't hesitate, just be like, yeah, I would do this or I would do that. And just kind of help me grow faster, become more, have a better system faster.
And that's very generous. That's a lot coming from a guy like Tony Garcia, who's got Avanzari, which is a long-time mainstay restaurant in this town that forever was on Glenstone, recently relocated. So you say he shows up in here from time to time.
Yeah, him and Carmen will come in here and eat. I was just there last night helping him put some tables together because they're a little short. We had to raise them up a little bit.
Really?
Just building, just networking and building friendships and trying to connect with other people that do the same thing you do and struggle like you do. We sometimes there's months where we go out and we're enjoying life and it looks like everything's fine and dandy, but then you won't see us for 6 months, and that's because we couldn't leave for 6 months. We were thing after thing, or after employees or it's getting busy or X reasons happen, and we can't get it out. So just it's nice to connect with people that have the same experience, because I know they've also they've had their ups and they have had their downs.
Yeah.
And
I love the way the people in this town, in this area, the 417, support each other. And I want to talk to you in a minute about where you like to eat when you're not here or when you're not cooking at home. But Sarah, you guys have a family. You have a family. Need I remind you? I mean, that is a full-time gig almost to begin with. How do you juggle all this?
Well, we just make it work. I don't know. Some days I question how we make it work.
How old are your kids now?
So they are 9 and 11 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're into everything. They've got friends. They're starting to, their social circle's getting bigger, their activities, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. They definitely keep me busy. So.
Okay.
They enjoy the restaurant business too, though. Our youngest always tries to come in and work and make extra money, he says. And our older is the one we have an issue getting in here. But now now that he's trying to be a cool kid, he's really trying to learn how to work and earn himself a keep. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely been a struggle. There's been days where they hang out with here in the office. We have a little office in the back room, and we install the gaming system in there for them. We put a futon, give them a little mini fridge. So on some days when we were busy, when we were getting started, that's the only option we had. It was either that or babysitter. And at the babysitter, they could watch TV anyways. Well, at least in here, I could watch them. If it got slowed down, we can go and sit with them, or she could take them go get ice cream or go to the park for a little bit. And we just made it work.
I just love that. I remember Lane Schultz from over at Garbo's Pizzeria talking about when her mother owned the place. She would be in there, and then her kids would come in there, and that's just what you do as a parent. But do you think your kids one day will kind of take on more of a role here, maybe?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm definitely sure. Okay. And the other thing too is we really want to teach them life skills and how to own a business and what that really is, because I've watched how he learned so much just from watching his family, and so I really want them to have that as well, to have all of the pieces that whenever when they go off into the world, at least we gave them something to know how to do.
And what else is going to go a long way with your kids, I think, is the way you two greet people and treat people and the way people react to you. Because a lot of kids now, they just don't want to people. They don't want peopling. No peopling. They want to be distanced, And I think that's probably going to go a long way to realize that part of your successful business is because you greet these people eye to eye and you treat them like family.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm really excited now that they are getting a little bit older to start bringing them in here and showing them all that, and just teach them the bonds that you make with customers. Honestly, I think that's what makes us want to do it so much, is that we just have built friendships through our customer base.
Oh, of course. And I think that's the most wonderful, really, part of it, is when you get those repeat customers and you get to know them and you see, and the next thing you know, their little kids are grown. and they're coming in and bringing their kids, and you're not there yet, but you will be because that stuff happens quickly, right?
Well, I mean, just for instance, here in Mundos, Abby was one of our servers. Actually, she just moved on to a better job that she actually went to school for, which we're so super excited we were able to help her with, or at least be a stepping stone in that path. I knew her. I used to serve her and her mom at my parents' restaurant because she's from Kabul, Missouri, when she was like 6 years old. So, and we've had several employees like that where I've known them since they were little kids. You know, I grew up in my parents' restaurant since I was 16 years old. So I saw people get married, have kids, and then their kids grow up now to where they're, in their teens. Some of them are messaging me, "Hey, can you DJ your wedding? You guys still do that kind of stuff?" And I'm like, "Dang, this is crazy. I didn't even realize I was that old already." Yeah.
It slaps you right in the face, doesn't it? But it's just so much fun, and I love hearing stories like that. So what is your favorite kind of food, or where do you like to eat when you're not here?
Oh, we love Asian food. We love sushi. We love ramen. We love ramen. Of course. But my sushi is probably going to be our top, at least for me, top. I think for her, maybe Italian. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think, Sarah?
Yes, I feel like Asian's definitely our family's thing. Like my kids, they are obsessed with sushi. Like if they get a choice, we're eating sushi.
Nice.
And that's what they've always picked.
I love me some good sushi. So do you still, when time allows, do you still like to get out and travel? Go see what's out in the world?
We have a lot of plans to travel soon, hopefully. We haven't been able to travel probably for 2 years as we started to expand to OXO and another location that we tried to open on Glenstone and it didn't work. It hasn't worked out very well. And
will you still try to open a third?
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
okay.
See. This other
you know how to reach me. You can tell me all about it.
Yeah. Well, this other adventure really tested our life skills, I think. So it's going to take a little bit, but I mean, I think so. Deep down inside, I want to open the third one. That second restaurant that we're going to open was going to be on North Glenstone.
I live north. I'm loving this so far.
So
yeah.
So we were going to open that actually last year around March. It was going to be called Mi Tierra, Latin American Kitchen and Grill, just like here. And it was going to be the same thing. It was going to be like our Mundos upgraded. Like, hey, this is what we could do with what we started, and we have done our best, and we will continue to do our best, and this will always be our baby. But we want to do a better version of it. Just make it a little bit nicer inside. Really put all the finishing touches that we could. And about a month and a half before we opened, we had theft in our building, and then that just created a whole bunch of other circumstances that just led into a halt on the project. But eventually we would like to really.
Well, I think that's how probably everybody is. They have visions of what they want to do, and sometimes a roadblock comes up, and sometimes that happens for a good reason. You don't always know what it is, but maybe sometimes it's like, this might not have been the thing, but we've got our mainstay down here, Mundos, and then you've got OXO over there. You've got a lot going on. I mean, that's a lot, Now, believe me, I would love to see you open up more locations, but you've got a corner on this food, this cuisine. By the way, give me an idea while we're still here. Venezuelan. Give me an idea of one of your Venezuelan dishes.
So the patacón, which is the one we mentioned earlier, that is a Venezuelan dish. Okay. Yeah, that is the only Venezuelan dish we have right now. We have another one that we might be adding on the menu, but I don't want to say too much because we might not add that one. But we have several dishes that we're going to be putting on our menu with a lot more countries and more items from the same countries too. We have some items with coconut coming in them. We have so much good food. We have one's called arroz chaufa, which is stir fry. So it's a Peruvian version of a stir fry, and that one has. When I've been doing test kitchen for the people here, for our employees and for customers that have been coming in that we have a connection with, we just offer to them. They're like, dude. They're like, I don't know that I'll go eat Chinese food anymore. I'm like, good,
That's what I was going for.
So good.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a bunch of things, that we're changing and modifying, and we're excited, to always looking on a way to do it better. Just try to see what our customers want, see what makes them what changes they want to see and do better. And if we can improve on our food, we're doing that also. We're going through a whole kitchen revamping, retraining. We're going through all these recipes as we do the whole menu to make sure that we are at where we want to be. And
well, you can tell I haven't been to Venezuela. Patacón is Venezuelan. I did not realize that, but I have not had that either. So I've got some eating to do.
It's the number one seller.
It is your number one seller. Man, I've heard about it. My buddy Billy, the 417 foodist, I remember him talking about that. And you may have brought it on that day. I don't remember. But everything that you brought on that day, and that's been a few years ago, was just great. And do you do daily specials? I know you do sort of daily happy hour type menu items.
This is going to be more of a Sarah question since I get to be a little bit in and out of the building.
Okay.
I don't keep up with some of these things as much. She really helps me take hold of this restaurant. She knows the ins and out of everything. And I couldn't be literally more blessed with a better partner, not just, in life, but business-wise.
Well, when I walked in the door, you have a board up there, and I took a picture of it because I'm like, I want to make sure I have this to refer to depending on what day. So you come up with some of the specials and the happy hour deals?
Yeah. We just tried to think of dishes that we thought would be a good choice for the days of the week. And some of them are really to push people to try foods they haven't tried. Mm-hmm. Like we do have the patacón on Tuesday that's 20% off, which is a great deal. And we definitely had more people questioning about us having a Taco Tuesday. But I will say that we definitely get half and half. Like half the people come in, they ask for tacos. The other half wants the patacón. I mean, it is crazy how many patacóns come out on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And I know you've got a full bar up there. Great drinks and drink specials. That's got to be fun to come up with some of the drinks.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy making the drinks. We have definitely modified our drink menu throughout the time we've been here. At one point, I challenged myself every Friday. I had to come up with a new drink, which I'm not going to lie, that became a little hard towards the end. I'd be like, I don't have any more ideas.
Those weeks just tick on by, don't they? They really do. Time goes quicker. You think, I got it solved for this week, and the next thing you know, it's next Friday,
Yeah, no, seriously.
You should tell me you had literally customers come in just on Fridays just to have the drinks that she was making. They didn't even know what was going to be on special because every Friday morning she would take a picture, put it on the website. So we have our daily specials every day, and then on Friday we had a special cocktail special, and she would have customers just come in just to see what she was going to make because she makes it fresh. If she was going to do something with strawberries, she would be back there muddling strawberries, cooking them down, all that stuff. But she could tell you more about that. I know she just wasn't going to brag on that, but she had customers
wow,
coming in here. Actually, you need to start that again.
That would get me in here. I'm just saying. So do you still do those from time to time?
So they actually ended up becoming a part of our menu. So after people started asking for them regularly, after I came up with them, they were like, no, I really liked that one. I really want to get it again. I'd be like, oh, okay. So then that's when I started including them into our drink menu. But that was a fun way to test out different drinks to see what people really like.
Sure.
But I'm excited to make a new menu, actually. So.
Ooh, so stay tuned.
More playing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
touches the new drink menu for the new food menu. That's what she needs to work on. If you want your fill to come in for the trial day.
Okay, you just let me know when it is.
Disclaimer: you might leave a little sober.
I will get a ride. It's okay. I will get a. That's why there's Uber. No, but it's. I think mixology is fun, and I think it's fun because it can be so seasonal. Like you mentioned, the strawberries. Depending on what's seasonal, you can have such fun with that. What was your most well-received drink or ingredient? Would you say?
I did a blackberry amaretto sour. It was in the fall. And I was muddling fresh blackberries in there. People were obsessed with that. It was kind of a good take on that. It mixed well with that because it kind of has that really good berry touch with it. So, yeah. And people still ask for it.
Is it on the regular menu?
It is not. I've never actually put it on the menu. But we still sell it all the time.
Okay, so insider tip, pro tip, if you come in and you had something here that you liked before, don't be afraid to ask for it because you can make it. And do you have people tailor their orders a little bit depending on how they need their menu items?
All the time, of course. We are a scratch kitchen, so if we can accommodate, we will try to accommodate as much as we can. Some days we can accommodate more than others, depending on how busy we are or what the circumstances are in the kitchen. But yeah, we can try to make, especially in the bar. If you have something, we'll try to make it. We don't, if we have never made it before, it's even more fun for us. But in the kitchen too, we have some. For instance, last week I was here and I had one of our customers. She had alpha gal, and she wanted to try her fried plantains, but she was afraid to because of the oil and the cross contamination. So without hesitating, it was on a Tuesday, and we have 3 fryers back there, and we wash them 3 different days of the week. Tuesday is one of the days we wash 2 of them, right? So we love maintaining our kitchen spot clean and really keep contamination at its minimum. So I went in the kitchen and I was like, hey guys, is that one brand new oil? They're like, yep. I'm like, fire it up right now. So like, why? I'm like, we're gonna make some plantains. So we even down to little things like that, we try to accommodate, make the customer really have an experience that, I did tell her maybe on another day you come, the oil might be already cross-contaminated, but if you come on a Tuesday or Wednesday, ask, and if possible, we will try to accommodate. And we really do try to find ways to accommodate for our customers. And everybody has special needs for dietary or health reasons, and we still want them to have an exceptional experience when they come here. With what we try to do.
Well, that's very much appreciated. What days are you open?
Every day.
Are you open 7 days?
Yep, we are open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 9, and then on Sundays, 11 to 2:30. So it's the only day we actually close early, and that's really just for family purposes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get one afternoon off, sort of half afternoon off.
That one's just for sure.
Yeah.
We try to take more time off during the week. We try to have a day or another couple half days here and there to enjoy time with their kids and stuff. It doesn't always work out. It's also kind of like fail safe for when staff is short. But Sunday is our given. Sunday is our day in the evening to have off. I actually learned that from my dad when he opened his first restaurant. When we started growing in the Mountain Grove and Houston area, and things got really hectic, he said, "You know what? We're going to start closing on Sunday so we can have some family time because we're not enjoying our life. We're working." Every day had been like a year and a half in, and we were not really seeing each other all the time. So we decided, we don't have to close all day, but let's do, half a day. We can get together in the evening and just make family dinner and hang out, and that's what we did. And when we started this restaurant, I continued to do the same thing, just so we make sure that we can enjoy some family time and go home, grill, invite our friends, or go bug somebody else and make them grill for us.
That's how you do it. All right. Well, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed visiting with you guys at Mundo's Latin Kitchen and Bar. It's right off of Highway 65, CC and J. Can't miss it. And of course, OXO on South Campbell. Don't sleep on that pork belly taco and that cilantro sauce. I might have to have a little bite of the cilantro sauce before I leave here today.
And it is family friendly from open till 10 p.m. every day. 100% family friendly.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people see our nightlife images or posts, stuff like that, and they'll be calling in, hey, can I bring my kid in? We're like, heck yes. Sunday lunches are becoming kind of popular with the kids because so we have You
do a brunch there, don't you?
We have a lunch menu. We wither down a little bit on the brunch with the whole egg catastrophe thing going on. We probably
the crazy egg, all of that. So, but you still do a nice Sunday lunch then?
Yeah, we do, and we were probably going to bring brunch back. But we have a huge 200-inch TV, and then we have about 10 other TVs in our building. So it's almost kind of like a movie theater if you think about it, right? So during Sunday's lunch, I know a lot of people come after church or something like that. So we've been turning on kids' movies on the big screen. And the parents and the kids have loved it. The kids sit there and enjoy it. They watch the movie and they, enjoy their food. And then the parents enjoy their dinner and they get to talk to each other and have a little family time without having to rely on a cell phone or something like that for the kids.
True, and you may have a cartoon on or TV, whatever over here, but you've also got lots of screens, so you can have the golf tournament on, or you can have the football game on, or whatever. So it's a great spot too. All right, Victor and Sarah Briceno from Mundos and OXO. Oh, thank you so much for spending time with me, and I'm just so impressed with what you've done. Just keep it up. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Really.
Thank you very much. No, it's a pleasure, honestly, doing this. So thank you.
Be sure to go to AroundTheOzarks.com to sign up for our daily newsletter where you can get every episode of Savor the Ozarks, plus all our other podcasts, events, and contests straight to your inbox. And what are your favorite dishes in the 417? You have any restaurants you'd like me to visit? Email me at joy@AroundTheOzarks.com.